Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Apex Racing TV for another series, a new series brought to you today. It is the Oman Digital Motorsport Formula 4 Championship. It is round one here at Summit Point Raceway. I'm your host, Matthew Duffy, joined again by Aaron Smith, and our producer in the background there is Louis Araya. It's great to see some new faces on this circuit and a new championship. Obviously, you'll be familiar with me and Aaron on the Sports Car Championship from last night's broadcast. But Aaron, great to be back here. Different track, new cars for us to talk about today, and it's going to be a fascinating one once again.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you start up a new championship, especially when it's a bit of an odd track car combination, which we've not really seen, I don't think, ever in officials. I could be completely wrong on that. It's F4s at Summit Point Raceway. Now, those of you who are familiar with iRacing will know this track fairly well from your rookie days, but of course in the big boy series like IMSA and all that good stuff and the VRS GT series, they have not touched this track with a 10-foot barge pole. You know, the smallest track they've been to, I think, is Not Kill and in IMSA, and that was hilarious, to be honest. LMP2s and GT3s going around that track was very entertaining. But yeah, here at Summit Point, yep, a lot of you will be familiar if you've done Formula V or MX-5s. And in Formula 4s, it's a pretty decent track. I'd say this is probably the limit for this track, to be honest, in these Formula 4 cars. It's just over a minute, as you can see from the quickest lap times that we've got. But we've just gone through qualifying, and pretty much everyone has finished their laps, apart from Ilay Ratkin, who's just finishing his final few laps at the moment, and he sits in 13th place. But so we've got a bit of a stacked field here today as well for such a small track.
Very stacked field as well for such a small track. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic day of racing at this circuit. Another new one for myself to get to grips with, but it looks a very narrow circuit for these Formula 4 cars in what should be fantastic racing throughout. Short 8-minute qualifying, followed by a short sprint race and a feature race for you coming up as well in this series. Here is Hussein Albaroni coming through the circuit at the moment on a qualifying lap, and he's yet to set a time. He's about halfway through his lap now as he's just gone through that first sector time. He's going to be looking to make sure he can get it on the front row as he locks up and goes up the banking. That is going to be his qualifying done. And I believe that is everybody in the pit lane. He was the only one out on the circuit. That is going to bring an abrupt end to this qualifying circuit. And I'm looking at our live timing screens here. We've got some names to pronounce today, Aaron.
Yes, that's just before we do get into it, from myself and Matthew, we will get these names wrong. It happens. We're commentators. We're not perfect. I've been in a couple series before where I just think, oh God, I'm going to offend someone here, but give it a go, Matthew.
Thank you very much. Thor is on pole from Sarif Al Rahawi. Malik is in P3 with Ibrahim Al Alawi in P4. Mustafa Al Azawi is P5 with Fawad Al Rawi in P6. We are struggling already. P7 is VJ from P8. Aaron. Daniel Fernandez is an easy one, P9, with Rune Barberis in P10. Vasily Farmets is in P11. Mishari is P12. I'm not even going to attempt that last one. Ratkin P13 with Abdul Rahman in 14th place. Fawad Swali is 15th with Omar in P16. Aaron, do you want to try and pronounce P16's name?
I don't feel like it, to be honest.
Okay, no worries. Abdullah Al Tawaki is P17 with Siri Butsev P18. 19th place for Manaf Al Balushi. Tariq Al Zubair is P20. P21 is Nicholas. 22nd is Lahamid Al Balushi. 23rd is Ismail Al Mudi. 24th is Chris Hodgson. Thank God there's a Brit on the circuit. Nice, simple one. Abdul Rahman Al Wahabi is P25. Adam Awan, 26th. And Hussein Al Baroni is 27th.
Well, you got through it, and we'll hopefully get better with the names as the broadcast goes on. But only one name left to go before we can go lights out.
Yeah, there is only a few moments till we go lights out in this race. And the first race will be a short 12-minute sprint as we're about to get underway here. It's going to be a fantastic job for the chance for these guys to head down into turn one as we are green and go for the first race of the afternoon. And it is a good start from a few drivers in the mid-pack, just jostling for positions. Is everybody on the front row, though, as they all come down towards turn one. Nice and spread out the field, very congested. Hard braking in towards that first corner. A long right-hander they come through. And it is all nice and cleanly through from all the front runners as everybody jostling for position further back. I see a few names tumbling down the order, a few off tracks popping up on the timing screen, but everybody, Aaron, through the first couple of corners, nice and cleanly, great to see.
Yeah, it was mostly clean from all of the guys, which is a very, very impressive indeed. As you said, a nice narrow track this is, especially for these Formula 4 cars. That sweeping right hand of turn 4 can catch you out if you're not careful. Some drivers checking up. There's the number 26 going off as well, but no one's had a huge incident just yet. Now we're coming through this very tight, twisty section, which is extremely narrow. But again, everyone managing to get through relatively cleanly, and I've got to say I'm impressed. I was expecting a big accident at some point on this first lap, but fair play. They've all managed to get through, especially from the top guys. Bit of an off there for one of the cars. That's the number 15 of Mustafa, who's fallen down the order. And you're going to see that a lot of people trying to overdrive this car, just going a bit wide and trying to make the best of the track limits heading into turn 1 again for the second time tonight. A couple drivers have already come into the pit lane as well. I've just heard a massive crash. That's someone without a rear wing, and that's Vasil facing the wrong way, and 2 other cars as well who've gone for a spin.
And that's going to be huge damage to the back of Vasil's car there as the 2 other drivers rejoin the race. Now, that could cost him a lot of time in this one, as we saw last night with Tauman losing his rear wing. It's going to be a little less... it's going to be a little more effective on these cars. This is what happened coming down into turn 1. Nearly 3 wide between... it's Vasil in the middle who's going to get squeezed. He actually runs wide a little bit, bounces off the other car, and then the rear wing just kind of dislodges after he gets tapped from a car, avoiding him, and 2 others spin around as well. Like you say, 4 or 5 cars into the pits. Vasil himself has returned to the pits, and Chris Hodgson as well, one of them drivers. But it is so far Saif Al-Rahawi who is leading this race by half a second. And here he is out there on the circuit, the Omanian driver, coming down the start straight to start that 3rd lap of this race as they head in towards turn 1. It's been a pretty decent, well, that little spin there. We didn't see why a few of the others had returned to the pit lane. It all looks pretty good at the moment. And Abdul Rahman moving up to P11. You just see there on the timing screen as Butsev now goes into P11, and Ratkin has gone up as well. It's jostling for position back there, down in 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th. And that is Rakitin, who has moved up a place. That was Abdul Rahman dropping back onto the grass a little bit wide. And like you say, very clean as that is car 25 in the gravel trap, just slightly there. And there's somebody else off because there's another driver dropping down the order. He's gone very wide there, and we've seen a few drivers lock up and go straight on that part of the circuit, and that is Mustafa Al-Azawi, who is the driver that has gone deep and has lost several places.
Yeah, starting to see a lot of mistakes creeping in, and that kind of happens when you get to a track which is a bit unfamiliar. And a lot of these drivers, we were talking about this before we started the broadcast, as Fernandez gets very wide through the final corner there. A lot of these drivers are rookies. A lot of them are unfamiliar with maybe this car and this track. Maybe don't have the experience like some of the other guys do. So you will see some pretty newbie mistakes, but of course that's part of the learning process of being a sim racer. Of course, as Fernandez holding on to P8 just for the moment, he's got a bit of a gap in front of him and looks to be under pressure from the drivers behind. A couple drivers coming into the pits as well. You've got Abdulram coming in from P20. He's just come back out though, and it seems like a lot of drivers have picked up some damage in these opening few laps. But because it's such a short race, you know, I mean, you may as well just stay out with a bit of damage, gain some places, and just see what can happen.
See what can happen indeed as they come through into this tricky right left section of the circuit. They now come down towards a bit of straight where you can get that slipstream. And Aaron, this F4 car slipstream, what's it like in these cars? We obviously saw in the TCRs and GT4s last night, it's not massively affected. These F4 cars will probably be a bit better.
Well, and you'd be absolutely right. Of course, with these higher downforce cars, the slipstream is notoriously powerful in the Formula 4. And if you get a track which is very, very... Oh, there's a car that's gone straight on into someone. There's two cars, actually. And that says Alawawi. And also another car as well who's just come back on. That's number 23 of Aaron Fasano. And well, he carries my name, so you're going to be secretly cheering on for him as he goes side by side through turn 3. Impressive from Aaron there, not biased at all. And managed to hold on to P7, albeit he had an off, and I'm guessing we'll have a quick replay of that for you to see what happened between himself and Alawawi, who's now down to 14th place. And it looked like he had a bit of damage from this as well.
And this is what happened. Oh, we just catch the aftermath of that. Hopefully we can go back and see what started there. But it was the two cars coming together. Ibrahim Al-Alawi is what the driver who got the real force of that one and went off the circuit a lot deeper than Aaron. And he was able to recover quite quickly. This is what happened though. So Aaron's in the slipstream here of Ibrahim Al-Alawi. Pulls to the inside line, looks down into the inside. I tell you what. Aaron has got very lucky to not be worse off there. He has survived that one pretty decent.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he just got a bit too overexcited trying to gain that place. And unfortunately, he's now down to 8th place. He has lost a place over the last few corners. And yeah, he just went a bit too deep and unfortunately came together with Ibrahim. And like you say, he could have been going over and over and over, and that could have been the end of his race. But actually, he was the one better off, as Alawawi is now down to 16th, whereas Aaron is still fighting for the top 8 positions. Looks to be struggling a tad, though, locking up here and there, and the car doesn't look amazingly hooked up, I got to say. Don't know if that's more down to setup or confidence or whatnot, but he's definitely struggling. But so here's the battle for the lead, which, albeit Thor looks to be the favourite. He has the highest iRacing, I think, in the entire lobby. Was on pole, but did not get a good start. Down to turn 1 we go. Is the slipstream going to be enough? He tries to look towards the inside, but it's just not enough on this occasion. We're 7 minutes into this 12-minute race. For about 5 minutes to go. And well, it's gone past relatively quick.
It's gone past relatively quick and gone past relatively clean at the moment for a lot of these drivers. A few incidents here and there, but it's been great driving so far from the top 3. We're on board here with Malik, who is trying to watch the front 2 do battle. They just drop a wheel into that gravel. I noticed that seems to be the line for the drivers through that corner, just dropping the wheels into the gravel a little bit. And Malik here right on the back of the Japanese driver ahead of him then, through into the middle sector of the lap. And as you can see, it is only 9/10 of a second separating this top 3. It's fantastic battle between them all so far as they come through to end what has been a pretty good lap. They are, like you say, it's a nice short track here, so these drivers don't have a lot of time to rest. They've got to constantly make sure they're on it. And with these sprint race formats, you have to, you need to get in positions quicker, as quick as you possibly can. Down in P14 at the minute with Mustafa Al-Azawi here then. So car number 15 trying to get on the back of car number 2, just ahead of him. And that is Fahad Al-Rahawi. And this is a battle for that top 10 position. This is Rakitin in P9, just ahead then of Aaron, who had that off earlier on. And he's now tumbled outside the top 10. Al-Wahabi has gone past him. So Aaron just tumbling down the standings here. And that damage possibly on the front end of the car looks like it's going to cause you. We just see that front nose cone look a little damaged. He's trying to fight as hard as he can, but it's not doing him any favours at the moment.
No, not at all. And I would definitely suspect that that is costing him a bit of time in the corners and also on the straights. I'd probably guess that's around half a second a lap, which at a short track like this is absolutely huge. So I still think it's better if he just stays out, as it looks like he should be able to finish in 11th place, as he's got 4 seconds between himself and El Mudi behind in 12th. So he'll get an 11th place, and I would imagine in the feature race we'll see him come back through the field as well. He definitely looks like a pretty speedy driver, but unfortunately was just involved in an incident which was avoidable. But again, these things can happen in racing.
Whoa!
And oh my word, who on earth was that coming out of the pits?
That's, I believe, a back marker coming out
Oh,
of pit
no!
lane. Locks up. Oh, and he's caused damage. He's caused an incident with Al-Wahabi. And that is, I don't know what has happened. I'm sure that's a back marker who's came out the pit lane into the side of him. I noticed as well there's been a change for the lead, and that gap's opened up. Malik and Thor, I don't know if they had an incident, but have dropped right off the back of Al-Rahawi here, so he looks pretty comfortable for the win going into the final moments of this race. But a back marker there pulling straight onto the racing line and causing a collision with drivers on the lead lap. Al-Wahabi has returned to the pit lane. He is out of this race. What a shame, because he was trying to get inside that top 10 and cement his place for some good points.
Well, I did say that this is a rookie lobby, and you might see some questionable things, and well, there's definitely one of them. Came out of the pits, completely went on the racing line, and locked up into the first corner and took them out. And I can promise you that's not something you want to be doing at all, and probably upset a couple of his fellow drivers. And well, there might be words after the race, as you can see from another replay here. You know, he comes across the racing line and then just completely locks up into the first corner. And, well, yeah. Al-Awabi is going to be... he's probably got a couple things to say.
He's going to be livid with that. Here is Saif Al-Rahawi, though, who leads this race by over 3 seconds now. Malik and Thor have just fell off a cliff here. I don't know what has happened to them in this race, but they was fighting for first, second, and third. And is this what happened here then? Let's take a look. So this was Malik and Thor, as Malik's trying to get past him and keep up with Saif ahead. Looking up the inside. All pretty clean so far. Nicely done. Bit of a wiggle, but still nothing that's dropped them off the back of the race leader here. So was it just them two having a little squabble that has possibly allowed the race leader to get away? Because that was pretty clean.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd guess. They were just fighting too hard for P2, and while they're so far back, they may as well just keep fighting, as Thor tries to look around the outside, but not going to work there at all. And, well, this is going to be a right old tussle all the way until the end of this race. Down into turn 5 is a decent overtaking opportunity, and there's a car spinning off there. That looks to be a lapped car, unfortunately, as some of the guys in this lobby have had a bit of a difficult time in this first race. And we are on white flag, by the way, so this will be the last lap of the race. They've only got a few corners to go to settle this battle. Who's it going to be that's going to finish second? We know who's going to finish first. He's got a 3.5 second lead, as Thor now tries to pull round to the outside to try and overtake Malik, but Malik beautifully defends into that last corner as Thor tries to get the switchback. It's going to be a run to the line as Saif wins this first race. It's going to be a run to the line, and they finish. What? They finish? Literally the same piece of tarmac.
Wow. The gap is, the interval is 0.00.
Yeah.
But Thor gets classified as second place. We saw him brake early. He uses that momentum through the corner, tucks to the outside now. And look at this. This is extraordinary to the line. Thor snatches it by a whisker. And then I'd love to know how many decimal points, after the decimal point, should I say, that it is, because wow, that is close between them. Bobber SP for Arvind, it was P5, Butsev P6. P7 was then Mesari. Potaranto was P8, Ratkin was P9, Rahawi was P10, Ferranzo P11, El Mudi P12, Al-Azawi was 13th place, Al-Alawi was 14th, and then it was the rest of the grid. So we have a 20-minute feature race coming up, and I believe it is the reverse grid of the first race. So Chris Hodgson will be on pole position from Abdullah Al-Tawki. Aaron, do you want to try race 2? No? Hussein will be P3. Lahamid will be P4. Abdul Rahman Al-Wahabi will be P5. Manaf Al-Balushi will be P6. Famatis will be 7th place. Adam Arwan, P8. Omar will be P9. Tariq Al-Zubair will be P10. Fawad Sawali will be P11. Ibrahim Al-Alawi will be P12. Mustafa Al-Azawi, P13, with Ismail Al-Moudi, P14. Aaron will be in P15. Fahad Al-Rahawi, 16th place. Raitkin, 17th. And you see the rest of the order as we are getting ready for the race start then. So very quick turnaround here. 20-minute race. It is green and go for the second race. It is a great launch from the third row of the grid. Already trying to make up some places, possibly making it 3 wide with third and fourth place on the grid. There's a couple of drivers on the grass in the background as they head down towards turn 1. Chris Hodgins, and there's a car backwards. Didn't quite see what happened to him there, but I believe that is Al-Wahabi, who is out of this race. He's in the pit lane. Already chaos in this reverse grid race, and more drama in the background.
What on earth is going on? I mean, this is what you can get with a reverse grid, and it's even more chaotic. This is going to be a huge pile-up, and that's one car going over as well. What on earth is going on here today at Summit Point Raceway? It's absolute mayhem, and it keeps on continuing. Oh my goodness!
Oh my days! There is a car that's in midair. What has happened on this reverse grid start? We've lost half the grid. Half the grid are in the pits. And somehow, Abdullah Al-Tawki is leading this race by 2 seconds. He's managed to get into turn 1 in the lead, keep out of dramas. There is half the field in the pit lane.
I'm speechless. I mean, Thor's come into the pits as well from 12th place, and I'm honestly speechless. I've never seen anything of the like in sim racing history, and it looks like it's about to get worse. As there was a car locking up into turn 1, and there's a car that has gone off. That's a one that's gone off, and honestly, I'm gonna need a minute to just comprehend what on earth happened. There were just incidents left, right, and center. There was a car going backwards into turn 1. There was a couple cars upside down, then into this corner, into turn 4. There was, I think, the biggest accident I've ever seen, and definitely if it happened in real life, I would have just witnessed a fatality. I've never seen anything so dramatic in my entire life. But we've still got battling to do on the racetrack, and wow, it's close for the battle for the podium. But just wow, and it's getting worse.
It is getting worse, and there's dramas everywhere you look. There is cars side by side, 3 or 4 abreast, and like we said, this is a bit of a rookie lobby in terms of iRating numbers, and I think you're kind of seeing a little bit of that here today. A few mistakes from drivers and not real much spatial awareness. 16 cars are out on track. Look at them coming out the pit lane into the lead of the race. Oh my days, there is backmarkers entering the circuit into the lead of this race, and now we've got 2 groups of 4. 2 groups of 2 nearly coming together in towards turn 1. This has been... We're only 2 minutes into this race, nearly 3 minutes into this race, 20 minutes to go, and you know, half the grid's now back out on the circuit. It was in the pits lap 1. There's a driver very wide. Rejoins nice and safely. Oh, but there's more dramas happening behind. It's just chaos everywhere you look at the moment. Look at this coming down into the... Whoa, there's another one off!
There's another car that's gone for a spin. I genuinely have no idea what is going on. I mean, it's just... I've never seen anything of the like in my entire life. I mean, it's fantastically entertaining. It's chaotic. It's beautiful, some would say. But it's shaking up the order. That's one thing to say. You know, drivers who had a poor, you know, first race are going to be absolutely laughing to the bank. Well, here's a replay of the starts, and this is probably the least chaotic part. There was only one car that went off at turn 1, and it was very dramatic. It's, I believe you might be right, as they went backwards, and yes, slightest bit of contact, and they got sent backwards. And didn't really pick up any damage, I don't think, but just decided they'd had enough. So fair enough from them. But wow, just wow.
Poor old Louis in the production room trying to keep up with all these incidents. So much happening on the circuit, he doesn't know which way to look. Another replay here. This is another lap 1 incident. So as you can see, look, Al Wahabi is making a good start. The white car down the front. We're looking a little further back at the black, white and red car. Where in the field is this? This is a little further back. Yeah, so mid-screen, coming into turn 1 now. The AC is very slow through turn 1. That's to try and possibly avoid the chaos that happened into that first corner. Oh, there's 2 in the background that went off. And then keep your eyes on Ibrahim. Outside coming through turn 2, in towards turn 3. There's a car round. He gets clipped. And then it's this yellow and purple one. Well, what do they say on a roller coaster? Scream if you want to go faster. Jeez.
Well, I mean, I just screamed because I wanted it to stop. I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is the one F3 race that got cancelled, I think in 2015, that was just ridiculous. And I mean, you're in a weird situation now where you've got lapped cars just spread across the field. I mean, we saw the big cluster of them come out of the pits just after they were about to be lapped. And yeah, it's difficult to keep track of who's where now, as some drivers are just choosing to battle the car that's a lap ahead of them or the lap behind them. It's very weird, but you know, we'll do our best to try and keep up with what on earth is going on. As you can see, the gaps have spread quite a bit, especially from 12th to 13th. That's kind of where it brinks off, but it's still fairly close for the likes of the podium right now. And well, we'll try our best to keep up.
Absolute mayhem here. P24, just looking down the order, there is only Mustafa Al-Azawi who is in the pit lane. He's only done just shy of 2 laps. He's still in the pit lane. Everybody else is back out on the circuit. But my, oh my, what a race this has been. This is P3, and this is the battle for second place as well. So this is on the ball, on board with Aaron, who had that mistake in the sprint race earlier on. We're 6.5 minutes through this race, so just the 13.5 minutes left to go. And Aaron coming through, possibly learning from his mistake in that first race. He's battling for this podium. Got an I rating of 2,090, battling against the guy with an I rating of 752. So I rating is important in terms of what you could do within iRacing, obviously outside the league racing stuff. But driver skill, you know, that iRacing means nothing because you could be a fantastic driver and have only just really sort of got yourself into iRacing, as that is wide. And Aaron takes a flick to the right. Round he goes. Easy as you like. But now there's a bit of lap traffic in front of him who's just exited pit lane. Battle then back for P4 as well. This is for Matis, who, dear, the bunny hopping off the floor there as he goes wheel to wheel with the car in front of him. And he goes round the outside of turn 1. Can he keep that momentum there? He does indeed. And that is past Hussein Albaroni and up into P4. And now Hussein is coming under pressure. I believe that, though, is from a back marker potentially there. Absolute chaos. And we don't know who's fighting who here. We don't know who that back marker is just behind him.
That's what I was saying. And he tries to look up the inside. And he hits him as well. That was a bit silly. Again, this is what I'm saying. As Hussein there maybe seeing a bit of red mist, tried to dive bomb him, but it didn't work out for him. And well, this is what I mean. You're going to get some lapped cars that just have absolutely nothing to lose now, that will choose to fight you. And well, within iRacing's rules, it technically is allowed. But within league racing rules, well, that's a completely different story, and that's up to the league organisers to see what on earth is going on. As now Safe gets back past Albaroni, as he momentarily lost that position to one of the lapped cars, and it's just absolute chaos in race right now. And oh dear, as there's Albaroni losing another place to Zubair, who now goes up the inside. They're still side by side. We did see a couple cars try to go around the outside through turn 3, but it hasn't really worked out for that many cars so far. As Hussein there, Albaroni just about hanging on there to 7th place. We've got Aaron's now leading the race, by the way.
Yeah,
and Hussein sending it up the inside, and I think he'll keep the position, but doesn't get a good exit as well, and it allows Zubair to come back up the inside and retake the position up to P7. But like I said, there has been a change for the lead. Aaron now leads the race. Whoopee. I'm
well
mentally cheering him on. I know, congrats to me.
This will happen to the race leader, and here is Aaron. So the race leader, I believe, is just ahead at this stage in the race. I believe that it was Abdullah Al-Tarki who goes off. Does he lock up going deep here? Oh, he's had a big spin there, and thankfully is stationary and waits for the rejoin. And that bit of racing, Aaron, you've just spoke on there just a moment ago, was some of the best racing as Chris Hodgson's now in the pits, and Hussein and Al-Zubair is still going at it. And this has been some great racing in this second race. Some of the best racing we've seen all day. Great side-by-side action between the pair of them. And they're still going here at Summit Point Raceway. But that battle looks all but done. And now they have... is that Thor who's gaining on? No, it's not Thor who's gaining on them, but it's a back mark that's gaining on them. Thor is next in line for position. And this is the problem. We don't know who that is.
No, we have absolutely no clue. It's just a guessing game at this point. But Aaron leading the way, and it looks like he has a fairly clear track in front of him, so he can just put the hammer down and try to get away from Rahawi behind. It's only about half a second, and we're halfway through this race. Just got about 9.5 minutes left to go, and it's been just utterly ridiculous from start to finish so far. It's probably going to be even more ridiculous as the lap car's gone for a spin and hopefully rejoins safely. That's the number 18 of Oman, who of course caused that incident coming out of the pits in that first race. Let's hope he can be a little bit more aware of his surroundings this time around. As Fahad now closing on the back of Aaron, maybe looks to have the pace on him. He was pulling away in the lead, but of course that was actually no, it was him who was following Aaron. It was Asakui who was the one in the lead. And this is what I mean. Hard to keep up with everything. So much has happened, but these two seem pretty dead set on pace at the moment, and I think this is going to be a fantastic battle for the lead.
It does seem to be a fantastic battle. Aaron got ahead. Just looking at the last lap times, Al-Rahawi was 10th quicker than Aaron last time around. Possibly that little bit of slipstream giving him that pace. Aaron just dipping a wheel slightly onto the gravel. And here comes the slipstream of Fawad Al-Rahawi looking into turn 1. He pulls out to have a look. Aaron comes back to defend. Fahawi goes back into the braking zone on into turn 1. Going to try around the outside. And very well aware to not just turn in on Aaron straight away there. That is great driving from the two leaders. And this is why these are starting to pull a gap over Al-Taqui in P3. As he's coming under pressure from Rune Barberis in P4 and Saif Al-Rahawi in P5. But this for the race lead at the moment. 12 minutes gone in the race. Just under 8 minutes left to go. And it's been fantastic so far from these two.
Yeah, it has. And let's hope that they can give us some tasteful racing action until the end of this race. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if most drivers at this point just want to finish this race. It's going to be a bit of a mixed one, isn't it? There's Thor going past for P8. It's either going to be people are terrified and they just want to get to the end, or people are going to think, I've got nothing to lose, send it, no brakes, can I take the entire track flat out in a Formula 4 car? They will find out for us in their little experiment today. We'll see what happens. But I believe this is the battle for P3. Bob Reyes has been a bit quiet so far in this race, but is closing nicely to the back of Altwaki, as he, of course, was leading the race momentarily, but had that mistake, as Alberoni now has had a mistake himself, but has such a big gap behind that I don't think it really matters. He has lost a lot of time, but yeah, like I said, a 27-second gap to P10. He has still not rejoined, and he's out. Well,
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought he was going to rejoin, but no, he's gone.
He's gone back to the pit lane. While these three are battling for the final podium position, there is a back marker just ahead, and here is Root, followed by Saif Al Rahawi, then in P5 at the moment, and these three just following each other through. Just over 6 minutes left in this race, and Saif Al Rahawi in that slipstream. We'll be getting that double slipstream coming through the final corner, down the start-finish straight. He's going to go now. That double hole punched in the air for him. Not massive amounts he's closing, and as you can see there, Barbarez is just gaining a little more. Goes defensive as well as possibly having a look, and that is a late defend there from Al-Tarki in the blue and red car in front. Just pulls out late on Rune Barbarez, and that is it's all through cleanly, but a little naughty there.
Yep, perfectly agree. I think that was a bit late from Al-Tarki, to be honest, and he's doing it again. He's being very aggressive and really wants to hold on to this podium. I'm guessing he's obviously frustrated having lost the lead earlier on. And we'll just keep an eye on him because, you know, I understand some drivers might be seeing the red mist in this race, but you've just got to keep calm. You know, have some fair racing. Be a gentleman racer. Just you know, handshake after the race, like the good old days back in, I don't know, the 60s or something. But here we go, around the final corner. This is where the main action point of today's race has been. Just noticed as well the gap at the top for the lead has come down as well. We'll keep an eye on that. I believe they are going side by side.
The lead has changed. They are now battling each other. Aaron's just dropped to second and got the lead back. So Rahawi must have outbraked himself somewhere because he's dropped half a second back through that corner, as you mentioned. That this is what happened then to Aaron and Al Rahawi. Comes across to that inside line, the defensive line. Rahawi goes to the outside. So Aaron defended very early in this race, in this part of the circuit, this lap. And Al Rahawi, yeah,
just goes wide.
Yeah, just little lock up on the brakes, and yeah, just his own mistake.
Yeah, he would. Oh my god!
Oh
my
chaos.
Goodness! Oh my goodness! And well, as Al-Tawaki, who's been involved in an incident.
And Al Rahawi as well. Two of them.
Yeah.
Barbarez has got away with that one. Here's Al-Tawaki then. So this is what happens. He's not spun on his own again at the same corner. Lock up, round it goes.
Exactly the same. Oh dear. Same mistake twice in a row.
And the pits.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, he's picked up a lot of damage from that. And well, actually, in hindsight, Al-Tawaki has kind of put himself in a better position. He's in fourth with not really any cars around him. He has lost a place, of course, but the same mistake, you know, twice in the same race, and it's a bit of an odd mistake. It just looks like maybe he snatched a rear brake, and you know, maybe he's just trying to make the best. That's a car that's gone very wide. I believe that was a lapped car. Here's Meshari trying to get past Famway. This is for P11, and the driver running the No Limits livery, and there's a car going for a spin. Was that Al-Tarki?
Al-Tarki again, yeah. I think you might be right. I think these are lapped cars.
His tyres are cooked.
Unlapping themselves from Al-Tarki, and his tyres are definitely going to be cooked. Let's take a look once again. This is Al-Zubair. Let's see what happened here. Currently P5. Thor doing well. Back up to P4. After getting that second place in race one. And, that's what happened to Al-Tarki. Narrowly avoided there by Al-Zubair. But Al-Tarki, like you said, his tyres will be cooked.
Yes, absolutely. And, well, here is what happened to him. It's just wiggling in the middle of the corner. And, yeah, his tyres are very much overheated. As, you know, it's just an endless cycle. You keep going for spin after spin after spin after spin. and it just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. And there has been a change for the lead once again, as Rahawi now is still struggling to get past Aaron for the lead. And it just doesn't seem like he can get it done. You know, he's gone for another move, and again, it's cost him a bunch of time. And now he's got to work to get that gap down once again. And let's take a look at what's happened this time. This is heading into turn 3. Looks like Aaron's just gotten onto the curb, maybe unsettled the car a little bit, and Al Rahawi, I'm guessing, has sensed an opportunity. He's trying to go around the outside. Looks perfectly normal and just gets run off the road.
Yeah, Aaron this time running him off the road. So Al Rahawi not maybe making his own mistake. Looked like he was going to keep that in the track limits. Maybe Aaron understeered a little wide on the exit. Not quite sure, but Al Rahawi pushed off the road. One thing I think me and you, Aaron, can and Lewis can be safe to say, it's a good job we aren't the stewards for this race.
Yeah, most definitely. I feel absolutely horrible. If there is indeed stewards, I'd like to think there are. They've got a fair job to do on their hands after this race. The first race was pretty bad enough, and then this race is, well, just another level of just ridiculousness. And well, it's caused some entertainment. That's the best way we can describe it.
It has indeed. Will Aaron get to start another lap? I believe they're just coming to the end of this current one, so it will be the white flag when Aaron comes towards the line. This is Fahamawi down in P11. Yep, so here comes Aaron with 25 seconds left. He takes the white flag, and it is the last lap here, and Rahawi getting back within that half a second. He's got one lap to make this move stick. Lap 18 here in this feature race. When Rahawi has got some traffic in front that might, because you just don't know what's going to happen here, help him out to win this race. We hope not. We hope that the lap traffic stay out the way and don't get involved. But at the minute, Aaron doing the job he needs to do. Rahawi getting very close in that slipstream. We just see that time coming down every little part of the circuit. And can Al Rahawi get this one completed? This is going to be an interesting one to see if he does get this one done. And there is a spin. And I don't believe anybody's... I don't know who it was. No. It was one of the back markers. But Aaron is still ahead here. And it looks like he's going to win this race, Aaron.
Not biased any way, shape or form.
Come through the final corner for the final time. We are at that stage of the race, and it is going to be Aaron who takes the checkered flag. He wins from Rahawi. That isn't P3 crossing the background. That was Alazawi crossing for P20 back there. Now we get in Faramets for P3. Alabroni is crossed for P17. Avund has crossed the line. Ratikin, Fahamawi, the Japanese driver of Thor, getting P4. He's got a good couple of points already. Al Zubair, P5. Bobares, P6. Alatauki. Oh my days. Even across the line, there's still incidents. He gets that place. Al Rahawi will come across for P8. Sali is going to come across for P9. Ratikin P10, as we said, and drivers coming across to complete their day. Alabushi is P16. He's the only driver yet to finish the race. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Alabushi comes across the line to finish P16 in this one. Aaron.
Well, that's just a weird end to the race, to be fair. And Altaki, got to be honest, I've not been too happy with some of his escapades. And I don't know if this is a bug. Before we get into the results, has Aaron been given a penalty? Because he's finished P9.
Wow, a lap down as well.
Yeah, I think he might have been given a penalty. I mean, that is a harsh penalty. Usually they're like 40 seconds, but I mean, they've just taken a lap off the guy.
So according to the final results out of the feature race, Fahad Al Rahawi wins it from Fermetisi. Thor gets on the podium once again. Al Zubair P4 with Rune Bobarez P5. Abdullah Al-Tarki P6 after a numerous of spins today. Saif Al-Rahawi P7. Fawad Swali P8. Aaron comes home P9 a lap down, and Rakitin comes home P10. There you see the rest of the drivers multiple laps down. How to sum up that race?
I don't know how to sum up that race either, to be honest. Just insane. Some questionable driving standards. I think that's something we can all agree on. Some entertaining racing here and there as well, but I mean that's one of the strangest, weirdest, and most insane races I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I've been doing sim racing for a good 6 years, 7 years now, and that tops it definitely, or at least is up there.
100%. In my 3 years of commentary, I don't think I've ever quite seen a race quite like that.
No.
And I've seen race for 20 years now. I don't think I've ever seen or been a part of a race quite like that. So, yeah, an interesting one. But that was the end of today's action here in the Oman Digital F4 Championship. Round 1 at Summit Point. Well, what a day, what a race, what an afternoon. Thank you all for joining myself and Aaron live here on the Apex TV station. Aaron, once again, thank you very much for being a part of the commentary.
Yes, it's been enjoyable, definitely. I will have a good chuckle over this one in the coming minutes, to be honest. I mean, it's fantastic, and I deep down, I kind of hope we get more of this, because it definitely has put a smile on my face.
Yeah, let's hope that we can bring you more of this action as it comes in the future. But thank you all for watching here on Apex Racing TV. Goodbye.